Teams very briefly because we have some new people. Great. So everybody, welcome, welcome. This is our virtual coffee that we do for College of Arts and Science every Wednesday now, just to check in and also to empower you with some new skills to succeed online, because some of you are pros and some of you are in the online environment for the first time now. Today we have a special guest that I will introduce in a moment. But first I want to take a minute to let you know that we are recording this for others that can't come today. So please don't do anything you wouldn't want your mama or your babies to see sometime in the future on Zoom. And also let me take just a quick second to show you around the Teams environment for those that are brand new to Teams. I'm going to share my Teams screen. Dr. Velarde, can you confirm that you can see all that?
I see me 3 times, so yeah.
Well, the more the better. There's not such a thing as too much, Dr. Velarde. So to get around in Teams, the magic trick is to really wiggle your mouse or trackpad or whatever you crazy Mac users use, and this magic ribbon will show up. This will be how you turn your webcam on or off. There's no pressure to turn it on. You don't have to. This is where you mute yourself and unmute. So we do keep ourselves muted when we're not speaking, or it can cause some audio disturbance for other users. This is where you'd share your screen, but right now I'm sharing mine. So you can't use that right now, but this is how you do it. This more button, we call this the more button. This is how I started the recording, but also if you're not able to hear or see, this is where you tweak your device setting and also blur your background if you wanted to do that in the future. If you have a question and you can't quite unmute, you can always type it in the chat box. So while Maggie's presenting today, we will monitor the chat box for her and make sure that your question gets answered. And for future reference, this is how you can see who's in the meeting. So this is how we know that Brian and hello, Dr. Olaf. We have some friends here that we haven't seen before in the virtual coffees, and Rowan and Sudeep have joined us. So we're all very, very happy to see you here today. I'm going to let Dr. Velarde say hello because he is my co-host on these virtual coffees, and then I'll introduce Maggie Uphaus, our featured star today, who will be teaching us about student planning. But first, Robert, would you like to say hello?
Hello from the great city of Wetumpka up here, and doesn't really matter, I guess, where we are right now. We're all equally quarantined and isolated. I wish I had a better background. Jay looks like he's got the best view of all of us right now. He's got the so I guess, you know, they can close down the casinos, but they can't shut down the view. So I'm a little jealous. But just look forward to hearing what Maggie has to say, and I'm glad that everybody's joined us today at our virtual coffee. I've gotten to really enjoy these, and I hope they are too. So.
Absolutely. And Maggie will stick around for the entire hour with us, even after the 20 minutes. So not only can we answer questions about student planning, but after her session, we can just answer any concerns or questions that you have, or at least we can try to do that. So now I'll introduce Maggie Uphaus, who's our assistant registrar at Troy University. And I've had the pleasure of working with her for several years, actually. She's been a huge innovator and a great partner to collaborate in training the faculty on how to use a lot of the advising systems we have. And today she's going to show you as a student how to use student self-service so you can take charge of your degree programs and use it to kind of optimize how you register and how you think about how you're going to progress towards graduation. Maggie, welcome. I'm so glad you could join us today. I don't know if you'd like to turn on your webcam or not. It's not on at the moment, but Maggie, I'm going to mute myself and let you take it from here.
Thank you, Leora. I was trying to avoid the webcam, but I can turn it on for the time being. Hey everybody, my name is Maggie Uphaus. Like Leora said, I'm an assistant registrar here at Troy. I work at the Troy campus, and I am actually in my office today. We are not currently keeping office hours at our office. We're working remotely for the time being, but I am here just to make sure I had good Wi-Fi. We didn't have any issues. I do know one of the students on the list. The others I have not had the pleasure of speaking with yet. Some of the instructors I also know. But any of y'all, if you could, this little bar that Leora was talking about that shows the webcam and how to mute yourself, there's a chat box. If you could click on that chat box and let me know if you're an undergrad student or a graduate student. That way I have a little bit better idea of how to gear this training once I get to the student planning part of it. I'm going to go through the records page real quick just to give you a little update on records and where to find stuff on our webpage. For the instructors and advisors that are on this call, this will be a great review for you guys as well, but I want you to know that Leora and I talked yesterday, and we are planning a faculty advisor training on the 22nd. So that email should be coming out shortly as well to you guys. Let me see. We have 2 grad students so far and another undergrad. Okay. Alrighty. The rest of you, if you could just let me know while I'm about to share my screen and show the records page, then I'll get back to that and we'll see how to proceed. Okay. Alrighty. So the first page that I want to show you all is just the records page, my.troy.edu/records. Any records function at all, you can pretty much come on this page and we can help you out via the web page. If you have a specific question that is not able to be answered through the records page, please email troyrecords@troy.edu. Doesn't matter what campus you're located on right now. Troy Records we're all willing to help. We're all gonna check all the emails and get you where you need to go. But for right now, let's go through a little bit on the records page. Obviously, you can order your official transcript on the records page. If you need an unofficial transcript, there again, you can email troyrecords@troy.edu and they can get you an unofficial. However, you can order your official online and it is $10 for the official and unofficial is free. You can get a degree verification as well. And then we have the forms link over here. The forms, the various forms that you can find on our records page have to do with enrollment verifications. If you need to withdraw from classes, or if you know any student, any of your friends that are not doing well, having to do with the virus and that sort of thing, we have actually extended the spring withdrawal date to match the term 4 withdrawal date. So that day, the last day to drop or withdraw from spring semester and term 4 is going to be April 24th. Let me check my calendar to make sure. Yes, April 24th. Which that withdrawal form is right there. If you just need to drop one of your courses, you can do that via student planning. However, if you want to withdraw from all courses, you must fill out this withdrawal form. You can also request the transcript on this page. If you need to update any personal information, you would print this form right here, fill out the information needed, and then send it in to troyrecords@troy.edu. If you are an undergraduate student and you would like to change your major, you would click on this link right here and let them know what major you would like to change to, and they will get that updated in the computer. There are also certain graduate forms, which I do not pretend to be an expert in graduate forms or graduate school, but here are the list of the graduate forms. You can also contact the graduate office. I know Jessica Accord works in that office. If you need their contact information, just let me know and I'll get you in touch with somebody in the graduate school. All right, another page that I want to show you on our records page for those undergraduate students is the academic evaluation page. Had I been back over here on the general page, you would have seen it on the links. Academic Evaluation Center right here. If you plan to take a course at a different institution, transient while you're still a Troy student, but you want to take a class somewhere else and you want to know what it transfers back to Troy as, if it is a school that we deal a lot with, we actually have transfer credit listings, which are down here on the left. When you click on those, you can go through and you can actually see if any of the school or the school that you would like to attend, if it happens to be located on this list. If it is, you just click on the school and it provides you with a list of the courses offered at that institution and what they would transfer back here to Troy as. Now, if your school does not appear on this list, just let us know and the evaluation center would be able to tell you what that class would transfer back to Troy as. All right, let's see. The next page that I wanted to show you is the degree map page. Now, a degree map is basically, these are for the undergraduate students. We have graduate degree plans as well, but these degree maps are for the undergraduate students. When you scroll down and you click on your catalog year, so let's just say you came in 2019, you would then select your college. So we'll go with the College of Arts and Sciences, and then let's select criminal justice, just because I'm a criminal justice grad student. So what these maps do is they basically outline from the first semester that you're here until the last semester of your schooling what you're supposed to take each term or semester. We have semester maps, and then we also have term maps. And they've been broken apart this year so that they're not on the same map. In previous years, they were actually on the same map, and it was a little bit more difficult to read. But it just outlines exactly what you're supposed to take each term. If you're farther along than your first or second year, you can still use it. You just go through and mark off what you've already taken, and then it'll show you what you have left to take and the order in which the department would like you to take those courses. If you have any questions about the degree map or your plan specifically, I'll put my email address in the chat box. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Yeah, I'm going to put my email address over here in the chat box, and you are more than welcome to email me at any time if you have any specific questions. The next page that I wanted to talk to you all about, which by the way, Leora had me put all of my links up there at the top just in case something didn't want to load, but they seem to be loading pretty quickly. So I'm going back over here to the page so you can see where the link is. The Graduation Center. Now this is for everyone, grad and undergrad. On the Graduation Center page, it tells you how to fill out your graduation application, your commencement location informations if you plan to walk in a ceremony, when the graduation applications are due, and so on and so forth. If you have any specific question, if you are nearing graduation or you've already filled out your graduation application, and you have any graduation questions, just email graduationcenter@troy.edu, and they'll be able to help you out with that. All right. We've already talked about the records form, so I don't need to go through that one again. Now, student planning. This is obviously what you guys all came here for today. And I'm sorry, I'm not the best at this whole Zoom thing. This is my first time really hosting one of these, so I'm clicking around a lot. Not hosting, I'm presenting. Anyway, so over here on the left-hand side, we have the student planning link. Now, after today, if you still have questions about student planning, you're not sure what to do, or you forget something I said, just come back over here to the student planning link. And there are videos for you guys to watch. There's a full overview video. It lasts about 7 minutes, I believe. And then we have broken it down into different parts. How to read your program eval, how to register or drop a course, which you might need to know both of those right now because registration is quickly approaching. Registration for term 5 is April 15th. And registration for fall semester and term 1 are going to be on May 4th. Like I said, there are just a bunch of videos here that you can refer back to if you have any questions. So let's get to the actual student planning page. And I'm going to go live on my own personal page. There are a couple different ways you can get to student planning if you have not yet done so. You can hover over services and click on self-service, or if you are on the my.troy.edu page, you can scroll down and self-service is on the second line, the last one. You just click on self-service. And you probably won't have all of these tabs. I have multiple tabs because I'm an employee and I'm a student. But what you will need to click on is student planning. Before we do that, I want to explain student finance. Obviously, that's where you could pay your bill or see any payment that you have still on your account. Financial aid, that walks you through the type of financial aid you have. You can click on the course catalog here and see the courses that are being offered for the upcoming terms and semesters. You can check your grades for the entire, every term and semester you've been here, that will show up on your grades page. When you're ready to graduate, you will click on Graduation Overview and submit your graduation application. But we're going to click on Student Planning. So the initial page that pulls up is going to ask you whether you'd like to go to your progress page or you want to plan your degree and register for classes. Let's check out the progress page first. And for you graduate students, this is what yours will look like, and then I'll show an undergrad. This is my personal page. I'm a grad student in the CJ program, actually currently in my final course, and I am very, very excited to be finished soon. All right, as you can see, it labels your program at the top, your GPA, your catalog year, your anticipated completion date. This is something new that has shown up on student planning after an update. I personally don't like it being posted because it kind of scares students sometimes. If you're not actually going to be finished when that date says you're going to be finished, it's not a problem. If you're going to be finished prior to that date, that's fantastic. If it's going to take you a little bit longer, that's not an issue at all. It's just a automated date in the system that the computer thinks you might be finished when you might be finished. So don't worry if that is incorrect, and you do not need to have it changed if it is. On the right-hand side, it gives you your progress bars, how many hours you've taken, how many hours you're in. If I had any planned hours, they'd be yellow, but I'll show you that in a little bit when we get to the planning part. Then we'll scroll down and we'll see all the courses that are required for that particular program. In my program, I had 4 required courses in this section, and I have taken 3 of them, and I am currently in the final class. As you can see, number 2 has been hidden, and it tells me that I can show these details. This is important for you undergrad students, because when we get to your page, it's a little bit more complicated, but you just need to remember how to show the details. If I click Show Details, it shows the 2 courses that I took in that area, when I took them, the grades I made, so on and so forth. Then under the elective area, it told me I needed to take 12 hours, which is 4 classes. So if I show those details, I can see all the classes that I took in that program. Now, I'm going to click on View a New Program. For you undergraduate students, you have the ability to do this. Graduate students, it doesn't work for graduate level programs. But I highly doubt any of you are nursing students, but I'm going to show a nursing program because I know I have not taken a lot of those courses in my undergrad program, which was social work. So this will show me a lot of different classes that are still required. And it gives you a little bit better idea of how to add classes to your plan and that sort of thing. Because this is probably more so what your program evaluation is going to look like. So once this program loads, it will show me that I have not changed my program. This is just kind of a what if scenario. So what if I did change? I have already finished my undergraduate degree, obviously. So all of those hours are going to show up here over on this bar. Now, you might have only taken 30 hours and you're registered in 6 more and you have 6 more planned. If so, that's great. It would say 30. Then it would be a light green with 6 and then another yellow with 6, just outlining how many hours you've planned and taken. When we scroll down on an undergraduate students program eval, you can see that it's broken down into 5 different areas in the general studies area. We have our comp, which is comp 1 and 2, English. Show those details. Then I can hide them again because I don't need to keep seeing them. Then we have our humanities and fine arts, where we have our literature, so on and so forth. And then it's telling me specifically that I would have needed to take one of these courses. So to do that, if I want to choose, let's just say I want to take world religions, I would click directly on that class from my progress page. Now, graduate students, you can do this as well. I would scroll down and I'm going to select the term or the semester for which I would like to take that course. I'm going to hope that it's offered term 5. I'm not sure if it is or not, but we're going to see. I'll select term 5 and it looks like it is. So world religions, I would click on view available sections. There is one section available. It is online and it's Ortiz. I'm terrible at names. So Ortiz If I would like to take this course, all I need to do is click Add Section to Schedule. Check and make sure I meet the requisites, whether there be prerequisites or co-requisites. There are none. So I can add the section to my schedule. Now, when that is added to my plan, to my progress page, let's see if it goes back to nursing. Nope, it didn't. Hold on just a second. When that is added to my progress page, it's going to be added in yellow and say planned. So as you can see, there are 3 hours right here that are planned now. And I'm going to scroll down and it tells me that my area 2 is now fully planned. And that course is planned right here. And as you can see, I only need 1 3-hour course in this section. Once I take that class and I complete it successfully, those details will also be hidden, and actually that whole section is going to hide. So just be aware when you're looking on your plan and schedule or your progress page that your sections do get hidden. A lot of people tend to lose their history class. If you're not required to take a, hold on just a second. If you're not required to take one specific history course, yours will show up a little bit different than mine. In the social work program, I had to take 2 histories like that. So it's a little different. Let's see. Then you just scroll down and it shows you all the other classes that are required for your program. Make sure you are reading all the verbiage above each of the sections because it tells you how many of the classes out of that particular section you must take. Out of this section, I would have to take them all. Out of this section, I only have to take 1. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to that so you don't think that you have to take all the classes in each section. Then you would scroll down and you would see the major requirements and whether or not you have any free electives. Some majors have 21 hours of free electives, some have none. This particular major had 1. Any class that does not count towards your major is going to show up in the other courses section. Please, please, please. If you register for a course or you plan a course and it shows up in this other courses section, make sure you talk to your advisor and see if they're going to sub that class for another class that is required. And if they're not, do not take it. Do not register for it. Do not take it because it is not required for your major. And if you are using federal financial aid, your financial aid will not cover that course. Please, please, please do not take anything outside of your program unless you know beforehand that you're going to pay for it out of pocket and it's not counting towards your degree program. Okay, so I've shown you one way to add courses to your plan. Let's take a look. Let's go up here to student planning and go to the plan and schedule page. I'm going to show you around here a little bit, and then I'm going to show you another way to add classes to your plan. The first tab is the schedule tab, and you can use the arrows to go back to the previous terms to see all the classes that you've already taken. You can see the class you're in now if you happen to be in classes. And then we're going to go forward, and you can see term 5, I have planned the world religions class. Now, if you were an on-campus student and we were actually doing on-campus courses, let's pretend that this one was Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Here on the calendar, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m., it would actually show up and you would be able to see when the course is and what time it ends and that sort of thing. Over here, you're able to see your instructor, check all the other meeting information and that sort of thing. If I want to take this class off or any of the classes in this term, I would just click remove planned courses or the X over here. So we're going to remove that. Now, the next tab on this page is the timeline tab, which is just another version of seeing all the courses that you've taken. Let me go back to my undergrad so you can see a little bit more. It took me a little while for my graduate degree, but I'm there. I'm getting done with it. It'll be exactly 10 years from the time I graduated with my undergraduate degree to when I graduate with my graduate degree. So here's what it would look like if you took multiple classes in a semester or a term. They just show up together in the little tab. Under the advising tab, this is extremely important if you do not know who your advisor is. Your advisor will be outlined in the advisor tab. Mine is Dr. Rush, and if I wanted to talk to him, I could compose a note, save the note, and then request a review of my account. That way, it gives him a notification that I have asked a question. Sadly, the save note function does not send an email to your advisor to tell them that you've saved a note there. So that's why you have to request a review, because the review request button does send a notification. If you don't want a whole review of your schedule, just send them an email. All you'd have to do is click on their name and it will pull up their email address as well.
Maggie?
Yes, ma'am.
Just chiming in from another faculty advisor's perspective, if you do want to request a review, I would also just send an email to the advisor letting them know, oh, Dr. Rush, I put something in, can you take a look? Because sometimes that request a review, it might show up as a notification inside student planning, so we might not ever see it. So I just realized that some of mine have done that, Lord knows how long ago, and I didn't even know they did it, so.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yes, ma'am. That is a very good idea. I'm just an email person anyway. I like to follow up with emails to make sure that I got the correct information or the correct point, sent the correct question, that sort of thing. Let's see. Petitions and waivers, we don't really use that right now. To the best of my knowledge, I've never seen an instructor actually put a petition or a waiver in. Okay, so the next step here in student planning is the search for courses button in the upper right hand corner. If you are one of those students that knows exactly what class you need to take next, all you have to do is type that class in the search box. And you notice I did not put a space in between the CJ and the 66550, excuse me. That's because the system, for some crazy reason, works a lot faster if you don't put a space. We found that out at Impact. I do the Impact registration over the summer, and a couple summers ago, we were trying to put Troy 1101 in the search box, and it was taking forever for the searches to load, and we just couldn't figure out why. Well, one of the students tried it like this, and it went without a problem, and it has, from then on, given us no issues when we search that way. A couple other things over here in the filter block. When we do come back to campus courses, or if you're just an online student, either way, you can select your campus over here where you would actually like to take it, and then the term as well. You also have the ability to select instructors. For lower level courses, there are usually a lot more instructors than graduate level classes. Time range, there again, for lower level courses, you would have a lot more options than you do graduate level courses. But I've already taken this one, so I don't need to take it again, obviously. So let's see. Let me add it to my plan, though, real quick. Term 1. That's not going to give me it, but we're going to add it anyway. I have met the prerequisites for this course, so I would add the section to my schedule. And then to register for a course, I would go over to the plan and schedule page, use the arrows to get to that term, which I'm just pretending right now because this is term 1 and we don't have term 1 registration right now, not until May 4th. But if this class was available for registration, there would be a registration button right here on the course, and there would be a registration button. It would be blue like that. It would say register now in the upper right hand corner. You select either the register now or the register on the course, and the class should turn from yellow to green to indicate that you are registered for the course. Now, let's say you need to drop a class. Well, we are technically still in the drop period for term 4. So if I wanted to drop criminological theory, which I do not because I worked very, very, very hard these last 4 weeks, and I do not want to have to take criminological theory again because it's a very difficult class. But if you do want to drop a class, all you do is select drop. Now, if I were to do that, this is kind of a pop quiz, but you guys aren't really answering me, but just think about it in your head. What you would have to do, since this is my only course that I'm taking, I can't drop it on student planning, right? I talked to y'all about that a little bit ago when we were on the records page. I would need to fill out that withdrawal form that I showed you guys the link to on the records page. If for some reason you cannot find that form, you don't know what to do, you're trying to drop a class, you can't get it dropped, send someone an email. Don't just keep trying to do it yourself. If it's not working, send somebody an email so you have physical proof of you trying to do something and on a certain day. That is not only for dropping, that's for adding, that's for everything you do. If you cannot document it, it did not happen. All right. So make sure that you either submit the withdrawal form and you would get an email response in return stating that you have been withdrawn from the classes, or send Troy Records an email, send me an email, your academic student associate or academic services associate, anybody, send them an email so that they have documented proof of your request to be dropped or withdrawn from a specific course. Let's see. There is one other page that I wanted to show you. Over here, just the course catalog. If you'd rather just go to the course catalog to search for classes rather than your progress page or the search for courses, you can do that as well. You can just type whatever prefix it is that you need and go to those classes, and you can see all of the courses that are being offered in a particular term. So psychology generally has a lot of classes that they offer, and here are all those classes that if you happen to be a psychology major, you could choose from. So that is pretty much the gist of student planning. I'm going to go back over here to the chat box and see if I have any questions real quick. I don't think I do. Oh, thank you very much. Let's see. Okay, Leora, I am done with the student planning sharing part. If you would like to take over from here, if anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those.
Great. Did you want to talk about the graduate? It's not called the roadmap, whatever that graduate thing is.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so everybody over in the chat, we have put a couple links over there. We talked about the undergraduate degree maps. Well, the graduate programs have what they call degree plans. They are not technically a map, but it does tell you exactly the classes that you must take. Let me find those. Hold on. It's right up here in our search, or in our chat. I'm sorry. And these are from the graduate school page, but if you click on your college and then the program, it outlines the classes that you need for that program. So this is CJ. I chose the non-thesis program, so it's only 30 hours. If I were to have done the thesis, it would have been 36. Gives you all the degree requirements right here. And then the different classes outlined in the different sections, and then it gives you the elective area as well. Now, like I said, I'm not as schooled on graduate school information such as these graduate degree plans, but I can get you in touch with people who are if you do have any questions about those.
And those graduate degree plans, to piggyback on what Maggie said, they are really useful because you can print them out and actually cross off the class, and you could really just pin it on your wall. And Eric, I know you'd probably do that because you're so organized, and then you'd be able to see, hey, I need this, I still need that. So that is a very handy little reference sheet, even though it's not the same thing as the undergraduate plans that they show term by term. So yes. So let's see, Maggie, if you don't mind, we're still seeing your screens. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So folks want to unmute or type questions in for Maggie. What kind of questions do you have? Some of you may have used student planning before. For some of you, it might have been the first time you've seen this. So what kind of questions or feedback do you have on the student planning thing? They're going easy on you so far, Miss Maggie.
That's all right. I have a question for you guys. Is there anyone out there who is not using student planning to register? If so, let me know in the chat. The reason I ask is because if you are using a different method for registration, that method might not be available for future terms and semesters. So you do need to learn how to use student planning. If you have any questions or issues, I'm here to help, and that's what I do. I work with student planning all day, every day. So if you need me, let me know.
Doesn't look like there's any questions out there.
That's fantastic.
Well, that was easy peasy.
Okay.
Well, in that case, we can open it up. Oh, wait, see, Eric is saying, Maggie, you did a great job presenting. Please know that I think most of the online learners are pretty proficient.
Yeah.
We were talking about that yesterday when I met with Maggie, is several folks that are experiencing online, they've already figured out how to leverage these resources and to keep their programs on track. Yes. Good point, Erica.
There was one other question. Web Express, exactly. That's the system I'm talking about. You need to start using student planning, the one that I just showed you. Depending on how much longer you have at Troy, if you only have a couple more classes or a few more classes, it shouldn't be a big deal to use Trojan Web Express. But if you are just now starting your major or your program, you do need to transition to student planning, please. If you have any questions, just let me know and I can help you.
Maggie, what did you say the ETA was for Trojan Web Express to be phased out?
That's an IT question, and I'm not qualified to give that answer out to everybody. I have an idea of what I think it is, but I would not want IT to know that I
of course. We're not going to get you in trouble. It's okay.
Yeah.
Great question, Val. That is a really good question. Because I know some people find it easier to find sections and search for classes.
Yeah.
In Trojan Web Express, it just seems more agile. But but student planning has other.
Yeah, once you get used to using student planning and searching for classes, it's actually, to me, a lot easier. I went through my entire undergrad using Trojan Web Express, I started this position about 6 years ago when we started transitioning to student planning, 5.5, 6 years ago, something like that. And so I used it for the majority of my graduate program, and I would prefer student planning over the functionality of Trojan Web Express personally.
Good to know. And I think a lot of us, it's just going to be an adjustment process, but it definitely has some bonus features. All right. Okay.
Yes, there was one other statement, not necessarily question in the chat. Yes, I know that Web Express can be a little bit easier, especially if you've been using it longer. But like I said, if you have an amount of classes left in your program, I would seriously suggest trying to transition to student planning. Once you get used to it, I promise the functionality is as easy or easier than Trojan Web Express.
Sounds good. And now they have your contact information, Maggie. So if people get stuck, they can know they can go to you or their advisors for help too. Wonderful. Well, at this point in the virtual coffee, we can open up to questions about anything and hear any concerns that some of you have. I know some folks are still transitioning online right now as we speak. So any other kinds of questions, thoughts, input, we'll just open it up to any subject. Well, I think some people did not have their actual coffee, Dr. Velarde. It is just way too quiet out there today. He brought a whole mug. All right. In that case, I'm going to ask you all a question. Some people have been joining us every week, which we love. Some people, this is their first time. So Dr. Velarde and I would like some input on what we should do next week. We could either bring in some folks from Troy Career Services to show you some of the resources online that they have and their services online, or we could do a session on writing resources like NetTutor, how to use Microsoft Word to format your citations, and Grammarly Pro, because Troy students can now get Grammarly Pro for free. Let's see. Oh, I think, Maggie, you are getting a question from Bao again. Oh, yeah, I think that one's for you. Can you explain the process of declaring a minor? He studies CS, computer science, but he also would like a minor in business.
Sure. Okay, so on the records page, on the forms link, there is the request for an official evaluation and/or change of major. When you go to that link, you would put in your regular CS program as your major, and then you would put business as your minor. And then just go through and save, and that I can show you actually here. Let's see. Give me just a second, let it start sharing the screen. So on the records page, my.troy.edu/records, on the forms link, there's the request for an official evaluation and/or change of major. You would select your home campus and then fill out the first page, and you would, yes, select that is major change. Since you are changing your minor, then you would go forward. I can't go to the next page without filling all that in. And you would just fill out the form as it asks and add business as your minor and click submit.
Thank you so much, Maggie. That's perfect. And maybe we can grab that form later somehow and send it out through the chat box. We're also getting a question from Erica as to, do we have any idea of whether when commencement ceremonies will be held? I thought I saw an announcement about that. Robert, do you recall, or Marty, do you recall anything on that?
I don't remember seeing the commencement one. I'm going to look it up real quick and see if I can find it.
We're having commencement. All commencement ceremonies for May have been canceled and are going to be held on July 24th. Let me check the date.
That's right. It was to coincide with the term 5.
Yes, July 24th. They will be held in Troy. All of them. We will not have any. They're actually going to be 2 different ceremonies that day. I believe they're going to be broken up into college. And we are not having a Phoenix City, Montgomery, or Dothan graduation ceremony for the spring reporting term or the summer. It's all going to be held together on that one day. As far as I know, as long as everything gets back on schedule, we'll be as normal starting back in the fall with the regular commencement ceremonies.
And I know there's a number of Master of Public Administration students that have joined us. So for those, we do still plan to have the virtual graduation celebration, and I believe that looks like it's May 3rd, 2020, and that all happens online anyway, so no disruption with that. We're running a little bit behind on the planning process for that, but to my knowledge, that's still being held. Maggie, you got another question. You're the perfect person to answer this. How much time in advance should we notify the graduation center of intent to graduate? Should we do it in the same term? There's a date in the catalog, in the academic calendar, right? Every year, every time?
Yes. So let's say I just put a link in the chat box, but I'm going to share my screen again real quick. I'm going to show you hold on just a second. On the graduation page, when you click on graduation application, let's say you plan to graduate, well, we just missed this date, but if you plan to graduate summer of 2020 or T5 of 2020, you should have had your graduation application to the graduation center by April 3rd. All right, I need to let them know they need to update this page for us, but that it's generally a few months prior to your graduation, your anticipated graduation date. So for term 4, you would have had to, if you want to graduate in term 4, you would have had to have turned it in by January 24th.
Thank you, Maggie. And another kind of cheater's way I do it is sometimes I'll just Google Troy academic calendar, and those intent to graduate dates usually show up there too. I'm just verifying that, but in the past they have shown up, and it usually is a full term in advance of when you want to graduate. I'm not seeing them right now, so I'm not going to share that, but that's how I sometimes do it. All right. Other questions? I see we did get a request for next week to cover capstone. Dr. Velarde and I will discuss after that. That might be a little tricky because all the capstones are so different in every program. But perhaps, maybe, we'll think about that one. So one vote for capstone. If anybody wants us to cover writing or career stuff next week, we could do that too. Other questions or thoughts? Oh, so Erica's asking, she's saying there are several who will complete their program in October. Will there be a December ceremony? I'm assuming you mean at the Troy campus. Maggie?
To the best of my knowledge, as long as, well, nobody really knows what anybody's going to be doing for a while, but as long as things with the virus get back on track, I don't really know how to word that. We intend to have our graduation ceremonies in December at the regular campuses. Now, I'm not sure what Leora had mentioned something about something online in May. I don't know about those, but the actual ceremonies where you walk at commencement, yes, we plan to have those in December.
Thank you, Maggie. Okay. I'm not seeing anything else come in from the chat box. So unless anybody else has something they would like to chat about or say hello or share a resource, then in a few minutes we'll close out the coffee. But we're game to keep doing this every week for as long as folks want to. Dr. Velarde, did you have anything to add?
Not at this time. I'm just real happy that Maggie joined us today, and you know, even I learned a little something today, so that's, you know, that's always good. And just from an advising point of view, it gave me some tips for helping out some of my students, so I really appreciate it.
I agree.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you for coming. Well, thanks, Maggie, and thank you, College of Arts and Science students, for coming. We'll share the recording out, and we hope to see some of you next week. Bye, everybody. Be well.